everybody. Welcome back to Power of the Mind, presented by Granite Mountain Behavioral Healthcare. As always, I've got my gal Madi with me. How's it going?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good. So we've been on our journey. So we've talked about narcissistic mom, narcissistic dad, narcissistic spouse, and each one gains a little more power, right? So mom and dad have like a lot of control over you. Mm-hmm. But we find when they walk out of the house, they've got to find positions of power because a narcissist is a narcissist. And it's not going to be enough for them to just control the people in their home. They want to control everybody. Mm-hmm. On the last episode, we talked about the narcissist that has, so it's your job, it's your employer. And sometimes those employers have power, but a lot of times we're finding that's like perceived power. I'll ruin you. I'll take you out. You're never going to work in this town again. But we learn that pretty much the manager at McDonald's is not going to control your life, right? Mm-hmm. And I've learned that even at an executive level, that perceived power is a lot of times just perceived power. Mm-hmm. And you're afraid because they've done a really good job at making you afraid. But as things get a little harder, you get into these positions where there are people, and I don't think this happens to the everyday person. I don't think we're walking around and we're in these positions where you are dealing with people that have unlimited, unchecked power and unlimited funds. Normal people like us, I speak for myself, I don't usually come across Hollywood moguls or CEOs in the industry that, are these types of people. But there are those who do. Mm-hmm. And, we see it in the news. We see it on social media. It happens. And what a scary world for somebody to be involved in. And so how does something like this happen? And I want to be careful just because if you're listening, you can make a pretty easy jump to, allegations that are out there. And that's all they are. They're allegations. There's been a lot of people trying to substantiate them, but until there's trials and everything, they're just allegations. Mm-hmm. But I can see how easily something like this could happen because they're just in my small interactions with small time narcissists. Mm-hmm. They are very good at making you very afraid. And so I'm just wondering, it just fascinates me because in what's going on in the Hollywood world right now, is this narcissistic behavior that you see?
Yeah, absolutely. It's also some sociopathic behavior. It's very concerning, especially when they're preying upon the innocent.
And so this wasn't the things that we're seeing. This isn't, I was a super nice guy and I happened to get, or girl, female, whatever, we're super nice people. And then we just came into all of this money. And so now we're going to start taking advantage of people. These are people, in your opinion, from what we're seeing, that they have born this way. They're born narcissists and they have clawed their way to a position of absolute power. Mm-hmm. And the types of people, do you see, I've always been told, surround yourself with the smartest people that you possibly can, because then you're going to be the smartest, don't always be the smartest person in the room. Mm-hmm. I don't think narcissists think that way.
No, they have to be the smartest person in the room. They have to be the most well-educated, the best looking, the best dressed, the best of the best at everything and anything. Everyone is below you.
So when they're creating their circles, what type of people are they looking for?
Naive, innocent, vulnerable, those with trauma.
How are they finding these people? Is it, I I mean, I guess it's easy because I coach cheerleading and I know, I mean, there's people that are strong. They have strong families. There's people that are, forward thinkers and, but then I see those that they want so much to belong to something and to be important to somebody. And, you see, they just want to be somebody. Mm-hmm. This is crazy. So do you think, because I'm assuming the power, the Hollywood mogul isn't out there finding people, right? They've created a circle of people that do this for them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then do you think, because I know the hardest thing that you and I have talked about is sex trafficking. Mm-hmm. And I've just always assumed that the people that are doing sex trafficking they're just depraved. They're sickos. They're looking for a quick buck. But do you see it more along the sides of that narcissistic behavior, that controlling behavior?
I think it's worse than narcissism when you're able and capable of doing something like that. But at the whole other side of the angle is, who are they fearful of if they don't do it? Mm-hmm. The narcissist is usually in charge, right? And has hired those to be dependent on them. And when you make these people especially financially dependent upon you, there's fear of taking away someone's whole livelihood in a second. It's Hollywood. They're capable.
What a scary world.
Terrifying. And then what they do is, you'll see often is like, it's not just in Hollywood. It's everywhere now. Sex trafficking, we need to bring awareness to it, because you look at how many children went missing in DCS custody last year. That's terrifying.
How many?
Hundreds, thousands.
Really?
A lot. Not just DCS, state custody, missing from Disneyland, missing from Disney World. There are places where there are these vulnerable children and they're going and they're getting kidnapped. A lot of people have mentioned about these in Hollywood or Disney World, and it's more known now, especially, about kids going missing. Is it Disney World doing it? I'm not saying it is. But what I'm saying is it's happening. And it's happening in places that we go with our family. It's happening in Mesa at Walmart. It's happening in Tucson at the mall. It's happening right in front of our eyes. And we have to bring awareness to that. How is someone getting so much power? It can't be just one.
No, because if you, like right now, if you're watching the news or listening to social media, you think you have the head of the snake. But is it? Could it possibly be that easy that you just remove this one person and all of Hollywood's woes are over?
So, in order, sex trafficking brought in, it was the biggest revenue brought in is sex trafficking, right? Also, not just sex trafficking, there's child trafficking, where these kids are being kidnapped and sold on the internet.
How though? Like, how do you how do you even...
How do you Google. Come across one?
Yeah. Okay, Google. I'd like it. It's just...
I'll give you a perfect example. So I'll give you a real life experience. So me and my husband have been looking for a surrogate for several years. And we've been looking for a surrogate, and it makes you vulnerable. You're exposing your family that you guys want something. You're exposing that you have this desire. And they know this, and they can use that against you, right? So you go on Facebook, and I've even been in a suspicious group where you see, okay, you go on the website and you'll see, all right, this lady saying, oh, well, I have a baby available for adoption. Oh, you go to her Facebook. She has different pictures for her profile picture. hard to identify who they are because the profile picture has changed from male to female so much. Incorrect grammar is very noticeable in it. Who wants to take baby home? You go down and there was a profile. You click on it and it took you to an orphan website. And then you click further into it. And what opened up was these children for sale with price tags from Facebook group. I reported it to Facebook. That group still exists, sadly. I'm curious how.
Right.
But things are happening right in front of us. And it's taking those vulnerable, such thing as a precious baby that this family desires. You know, someone saying, hey, if you pay for my living expenses for this long, we have a baby for you, but I need upfront payment first, is what I was told by this lady. And I said, what are we talking? Because it's usually well known in surrogacy. Well, then it gets more and then it goes, all right, well, I need you to sell me to this number. And then 2 hours later, it's like, oh, but I need more money, but you're going to have to sell me to this number instead.
That's crazy.
It's happening and it's happening everywhere.
Because being a regular person, how do you even get involved with something like that? But you guys looking for a surrogate, you've expressed your vulnerability because of course I would understand like you're showing like we would be great parents and we just need this. And so it's so raw and exposing and people prey on that. So think about the person too, like I want to be a star. Here's my video. Look, I'm out there. I'm on TikTok and I've listened to me sing. And how many times a day are those people confronted with, I can help you be a star. I can help you get there.
And those false promises or even realistic promises, changing them in a day. You know, like we said, they can give you, take away your power in a day. They can create you overnight 100%. In Hollywood.
100%. You just show up with the right people wearing the right thing. And who's this girl?
And how willing are you able to go? What are you willing to do?
Because we need you to walk away from your family. Obviously, that's step number one. Or family is in such dire straits that don't worry, we're going to buy your family a home. We're going to give them a car, but you're coming with us.
And then imagine you as a kid feeling guilty for, hey, we finally have food on our table. Dad finally is less stressed about money. Mom has that purse she's always wanted. We finally have the house. We have the cars. We have those things we've all wanted.
I didn't think about that angle.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, it was just, we're not talking about it. Mom and dad got the house. Mom and dad has a steady income coming in now. I didn't think about the guilt of the child going, I can't say anything because we're going to lose this if I mess it up. That is wow. And for these little children, and because you see in Hollywood, so many people that seem so great and so wonderful, and then they're gone. They've, taken their own life or it became part of a tragedy. And it's like, why? Their life was great. They had money, they had fame, but what did people have to sell of themselves to get there? Because eventually you wake up and go, this was not right, what I had to do to get here. I'm not saying everybody's done that. I'm saying there are people who they've got talent and things work out and whatever, but for those who've sold their souls to be where they literally be where they are.
And much more than your soul. Everything, your whole identity. You've put power over your soul if you're willing to look at it like that. You get what I mean?
Yeah, but you brought up such a great point because I was thinking, well, I want to be a star, so I'll do whatever I have to do. But like you said, because I would imagine if you are these people, you're very good at finding those people that aren't coming from rich homes. They're not coming from, they've got a closet full of clothes.
The vulnerable.
It's that girl that you can see. And it takes 5 seconds looking at a video. You look at their background of the room that they're in, the clothes that they're wearing. and you go back and you research their Facebook and their Instagram and you find their mom and their dad and you're seeing that, gosh, this family struggles. Perfect.
Yeah.
Right? Perfect.
And then it's perfect to come along, save them. Literally save them.
Because you didn't kidnap them.
Right? No, not at all. But then you go to the kid and things can be happening to the kid and the kid's going to feel responsible for the whole family because they know where the money comes. And that's from them. If they open their mouth, they're going to lose it all. That's a heavy burden to carry, to know that in a second, your family can go from having everything to nothing in a matter of seconds. That's a heavy burden to carry for a child.
Well, and maybe not even lose everything. Lose someone you love in your family, because you've now learned that the people controlling everything have ultimate control over everything. Gosh. And it's because I look at the parents and I'm like, what were you thinking? Like, you handed your child off to somebody. But if you think about how clever these people are and how like, oh, we're going to make them a star. You watch. They're going to be, and who are you to stand in their way? Because I'm wondering how many parents go, oh, sure, you need to pick up Susie at 5:00 and I won't see them for 2 weeks. That's normal. Go ahead and do that. But I bet the groundwork that's laid between then and then, between then and now, it's got to be immense what they're doing. And they've got to be such pros at this by now.
Imagine. You have to be. And they know what they're looking for. How can we take somebody, manipulate them, give them everything they want, but know that they still owe it all to us? Think about artists that sign.
For pennies.
And then they blow up.
And you're still making pennies.
Correct. And you just signed it all over. But that was your avenue in, right?
Right. And this isn't speculation. We've seen it. We've heard it from the artists themselves who've talked about, I signed this great contract, but they controlled every part of our life, every entity. And you're going to go see this boy band and they're making, basically minimum wage, if that, or they got enough money in their pocket to buy things they've never been able to buy before. But these record labels were making tons of money off of them. Look at the kids that were on, was it Nickelodeon, that have been coming out and talking about, I do think there's been some stage moms that were talked about in the book that they knew stuff was going on, but it was like, you just are used to it. This is just the way it is. Well, right?
And think of it like this. I have kids. Do I want them to be noticed? Heck yes. That's human nature, that I want my kid to be noticed for this incredible human that he is, or that they are, or she, all of them, And someone comes along and says, oh, they're slick with their words. They're very smart. They know just what to say. They know just what you're lacking. They prey upon that vulnerable and they take that vulnerability and they go with it. Whatever that is. They'll find things against you, prey upon your weaknesses, financially create situations where you're dependent upon them. And they use fear tactics, several. Think about how many people have gone missing since they started coming out with all of this.
Right.
Think about how many lists were destroyed and somehow not published.
Yeah. Disappeared in prison, right?
Just randomly, Oh, we lost everything. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
How?
You can't.
But, it's unchecked power and it's unlimited money.
Correct. And when you have money, you have power, right? And then the narcissist or the sociopath, what are they going to do with that power? What do you think?
Well, that was my thing too, because I started thinking about it and I was like, how amazing it would be to have all this money. You could go to the spa every day. You could, be pampered. You have somebody making your bed. Glam Squad comes in and does your makeup. And I'm bored. I don't get to go shopping every day. I can go shopping, but big deal. I do that every day. Big deal. Now what? What dangerous things what can I get involved with that's going to excite me again? because I'm not excited. Like I go to TJ Maxx, girl, I'm excited.
Oh yes, it's the best.
I get to go to Costco for the day and buy some stuff. I'm excited. Big deal. I'm a mogul. I've got so much money. It doesn't matter. Now what? What can I do to spark that? This can go on and on. And I think right now I'd like to pause for a moment and kind of get my bearings about where we should be taking this and where we want to go with this, because I think we're touching on very sensitive ground that can be, I want to get your comfortability with this. And I'd like to kind of end this right here and come into this next week with a lot more knowledge and a lot more research so we can take it and be careful and fair to people that are involved and people that we're seeing, because we're not experts. I mean, you're an expert in your field. I'm pretty good in my field, but this is way out of my realm. And I just want to get this right when we talk about it.
Absolutely.
So continue this journey with me. I appreciate it so much. You're awesome.
Thank you.
You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And we're just going to do some more research and we're going to have some more answers and questions and see where we want to take this next week. But this is getting pretty heavy and I just want to handle it responsibly. So thank you guys for tuning in and we will see you next time on Power of the Mind.